The Los Angeles Dodgers are ruining baseball. I hate them, you hate them, your neighbor's cousin probably hates them. And it's not necessarily because we hate the Dodgers themselves, but we kind of all hate what the Dodgers stand for. They recently won the World Series, but it wasn't because they are incredibly good at team building or incredibly good at drafting. It's because they're in Los Angeles, they have a lot of money, and they have just bought all of the best players. In baseball, they have proven that money does buy wins and money does buy championships. And I personally just don't think that's a good look. I don't think that's a good product. And that's why I enjoy other sports leagues like the NFL, who have implemented something called a salary cap, where when every single player's salary that is on your roster is combined, it can't go over a certain number. So basically, every single team is given this big pool of money, and if you spend over it, you get severely punished. It makes things much more fair and allows smaller market teams to compete with bigger cities. And well, when it comes to Counter-Strike, we do not have a salary cap. I don't really know exactly how you would implement something like this. We would have to make every single player's salary public at that point. And I mean, maybe eventually it does come in the future, but as of right now and throughout history, there is no salary cap in CS. And so this might make you think we could have a potential Dodger situation. It should be easy for someone to come in, buy all the best players, and just win everything. But a part of the reason why Counter-Strike is such a phenomenal esport is you just simply can't do this. And it has been shown to us year after year after year. There are a lot of great examples we can use, but I'll start with two teams from today: Vitality and Falcons. Barmlings, are you looking to quickly and easily sell your skins? Then check out today's sponsor, sellyourskins.com. All you need to do is sign in through Steam, select the skins you're looking to sell, pick from a wide range of payout methods, such as PayPal, bank transfer, or even crypto, and then use code Garmour for a 5% bonus. Hit the big sell your skins button, and voila, you have just turned your skins into real money. Along with this site has a great bonus system where the more you sell, the bigger bonus you'll receive. If you're looking to sell your skins today, hit the link in the description or use code Garmour. Thank you to them for sponsoring, and back to the video. Realistically, Falcons tried to be the Dodgers of Counter-Strike. They have infinite Saudi oil money, they come in, and at first they buy a top 5 team in the world in ENTs, and combine them with Zonic, who at the time was looked at as the greatest coach in Counter-Strike history, and mix the ENTs core with their young star of Boros, and 47-time major winner Magisk. On paper, you would think this team would work out well, but it was a complete disaster. It seemed that all the players in the team weren't clicking whatsoever, and eventually it gets to the point where the entire team needs to be scrapped, besides Zonic and Magisk, of course, and they bring in one of the greatest riflers of all time in Nico, who has the most HLTV top 20 appearances, and prior to joining the team was just number 4 in the world, signed the core of another top 10 team, eventually replaced Dexter with Monesi, who is one of the best AWPers in the world, and eventually replaced Magisk with Kiyosuke, who is without a doubt the best young prospect in the entire game. Falcons has one of the nastiest rosters on paper, but so far at the time of recording this video, they've only ever won one tournament, which was a tier 1.5 tournament where they still had Dexter, and it was just a dead team run. And while Falcons currently are a top 5 ranked VRS team in the world, you would think for a team like this they would be winning a lot more. And well, when we look at the team who has been winning a lot more, it starts to make a lot of sense as to why Falcons isn't having the success they want. The first ever Vitality team included 4 leftover pieces of the kind of dying French scene at the time, and that was NBK, RPK, Apex, Happy, and a young, inexperienced rookie named ZywOo. Eventually, the team did bring in Caller Alex for Happy, and they would peak at number 2 in the world, but this mostly was because the team's young AWPer and ZywOo turned out to be the most generational signing of all time. But the way Vitality has slowly built their roster up to be better and better and better year after year shows they have an incredibly good understanding of the game and team building. In my opinion, I feel like every great team needs to take a risk on young talent, and that's what Vitality initially did with ZywOo. Furia did it with Molodoy, Mouse has done it with all of their young academy players, Paravision is currently doing it with a lot of their core, Spirit did it with Donk and Zontix, the Mongols did it with Senzu, G2 did it with Monesi, FaZe did it with Brokey. You know, you kind of see what I'm saying. And while Falcons have done this with Kiyosuke, of course, it just doesn't feel the same as a lot of these other teams, because for a lot of these other teams, it feels like these young players are intentional, it's a good fit for the team, and with Falcons, it feels like they picked him up because of name value, because he was the biggest up-and-coming rookie in the entire scene. He didn't really fit into the team super well. They kind of had to rearrange everyone's roles. You know, you get the point. After ZywOo, eventually Apex would take over calling duties, and instead of freaking out and kicking him off the team, you know, after the first 6 months, they gave Apex a long-ass time to truly develop into one of the best callers in the entire scene.
Saving.
Yeah, saving.
Now, Vitality did eventually win a major in CSGO with Dupree, Zonic, Magisk, and Spinks, which, you know, that's pretty Falcons coded. They just took the, you know, parts of the Astralis super team and tried to make their own. Even though that worked, I will not glaze it. And well, that's not why Vitality is in the spot they're in now, because despite that success with that team, they still made roster moves because they were more concerned about the future. After this, Dupree would eventually get replaced by Flames, Zonic would leave to join Falcons, Mezzi would be brought in to replace Magisk, and Spinks is benched for Rops. And this iteration of Vitality is currently in the running to be the greatest team in Counter-Strike history. And while Falcons team construction seems sloppy and just kind of forced together, Vitality's current team seems perfectly crafted. And I think the main reason for that is, while of course Vitality has money, they used it as a tool rather than the main source of roster building. Falcons bought up a team so they would have a good VRS spot, forced some of the best players in the scene into that team, and while the team is good, they're incredibly inconsistent. They currently have choking problems, over peaking problems. Despite the talent on the roster, there's a lot of underlying issues within the team. Falcons seems to just throw its money at its problems and pray that it fixes it, while Vitality, who does have a lot of money, still makes incredibly smart moves financially and just good in general. Flames had showed promise on OG. He wasn't like a top 20 player or anything, but he was good. And he was able to join Vitality for free because he didn't renew his contract with OG. He was a great fit for the team. He was free. And Vitality was thinking long-term with this move instead of short-term, as they kind of wanted to develop Flames into the player they wanted, and Dupree was really getting up there in age. And while Mezzi wasn't a free agent like Flames was, they acquired him from Fnatic because they saw something in him that a lot of other teams didn't. He was on the failed Cloud9 experiment and had just been on Fnatic for 2 years where they didn't really achieve much. But they brought him in to replace Magisk because he had a trait that might be the most undervalued trait in all of Counter-Strike. He had no ego, and had shown throughout his career he was extremely flexible. He had dabbled with multiple different positions, even calling for a while, and having a player who is this flexible is incredibly valuable. You can have your other 4 players in the team play their preferred positions, have Mezzi fill all of the gaps, and he's gonna do it with a smile, probably embracing it more than other pros would and really trying to get better at what he's playing. And well, because of these traits, he is now one of the best anchor support players in the entire world. Then of course, we eventually have Rops for Spinks. This was once again incredibly smart financially, as Rops was a free agent similar to Flames, and he was an incredibly similar player to Spinks, just seemingly an upgrade in every way. And with this Rops move, Vitality seemingly fully unlocked their potential. They're a team of 5 puzzle pieces that fit together perfectly. Apex has blossomed into an incredible caller. ZywOo has always been ZywOo. Flames has developed into one of the best openers in the world. Like I said, Mezzi is an incredible support anchor player, and Rops is of course the best closer in the world. Vitality has slowly throughout the years built their team up to be this perfect team, and despite having money, they're still incredibly smart with it. And on the other end, it seems like Falcons are the get rich quick type of team. The puzzle pieces don't really fit together well, and they just keep dishing out more and more money to try and get the best players possible and just hope the team works. We even have a perfect example of this lower down the rankings. At the time of recording this, I know this is going to change and age poorly. Maybe not age poorly, but just age. BC Game is currently ranked number 31 in the VRS rankings, and right behind them, sniffing up their crack, is 100 Thieves at number 32. BC Game bought the Saw Core. They bought a VRS spot. It has not really worked out. They're currently tumbling down the rankings. They bought out Simple and are paying him like $120,000 a month. They bought out Electronic. BC Game is basically tier 2 Falcons. They're just throwing their money at players and hoping that this shit works out. And while 100 Thieves did have to spend money, they have Device and Rain. It just seems like they were so much better in their team building. Rain is an incredibly experienced player. It makes sense to make him the IGL. Device as well. You could have taken a risk with younger upping talent, but I get why they did it. And then they have a rifling core of 3 incredibly inexperienced but exciting young players. And 100 Thieves quite literally started from scratch. They didn't have a single VRS point. And literally after 2 lands, they are already almost above BC Game, and if they win this land, they're probably gonna be above them. And it just goes to show, man, I love this game so much. While it does take some money to be relevant, it matters so much more on team building, team composition, taking risks on young talent instead of buying teams, throwing money at the best players, and hoping that it works. If you guys want more Garmour lore, this is a part of the reason why I hate FaZe. I started watching Counter-Strike around a decade ago at this point, and around a year or 2 after, very shortly after I started watching, is when the demonic FaZe 2017 super team came along. Originally, they bought out the International G2 Super Team, simply just replaced all the parts, and added one of the better callers in the scene in Kerrigan, added one of the best riflers in the entire game in Nico, and then the number 1 and number 2 ranked player from the HLTV top 20 list in Olaf and Guardian. They were an evil team. They bought out an already existing super team, replaced all the parts with some of the best players in the scene, and just hoped that it worked. FaZe was the original Falcons, and I have not stopped hating them since this day. Unfortunately for me, I know they're entertaining, but that's just how it is. I was the original Falcons hater, guys. It just was under a different name. So you have no fucking idea how satisfying it was for me at that Boston major. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was just in a mood to glaze Vitality and shit on Falcons today. It does slightly hurt my soul to have to glaze Vitality, but at the end of the day, I have to respect what they've done. And if they win Cologne, I think they're without a doubt the best team in Counter-Strike history. And just the way they constructed this roster, I can't be mad about it. It was done so fucking well. Maybe one day Falcons will eventually just throw more money into the issues until it finally works, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, that's it for me today, fellas. Like the video if you liked, subscribe if you want to subscribe, and turn on notifications if you want to be notified. And I will see you guys next time.